Welcome back to Modifications. Some of you may know that I recently purchased a new project car to replace my Miata, a Mk6 2011 two-door Tornado Red Volkswagen GTI with a 6-speed manual. However, due to its age, the first thing I wanted to do was start fixing and upgrading things to bring it back into the 2020s. And that starts with deleting this terrible base model head unit and replacing it with something that gives me Android Auto and CarPlay. And today, Eonon was nice enough to provide me with one of their amazingly simple plug-and-play units. That's right, you heard me, completely plug and play, because that's what I, and a lot of you, are looking for. I wanted something I didn't have to splice and I didn't have to guess on wiring, so let's dive right in. We're going to unbox it, install it, and then we're going to cover the main features of this head unit. So let's go. All right, a couple things to note. It comes with 2 USB cables for 3 outputs total, so USB CarPlay, USB 2, USB 3. They each connect into these little sections on the head unit itself. They're very specific, so you can't plug the wrong one into the wrong thing. And then I plugged the main harness into the back of the head unit as well. And then off of that, you'll have a camera input and got all sorts of different outputs, inputs, everything that you could possibly want. My hope is let's just connect it and everything just works. We're gonna go ahead and mess with this. So from what I read, you literally just need to pop this clip off. And now you have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these Torx screws. So I think it's a T15. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we should just be able to pull this out. Okay, there we go. Oh wow, this is huge. I'm gonna go get a cloth for down here so that way I don't scratch any trim up. So let this hang a little. Basically just disconnect everything. Hopefully not break something. I just did break something. And then you pull and then you push down. Same thing with this one. You pull up and then you push down and pull it off. And that's it. The stock unit is out and it's huge. So as we pull this out, what I want to do before anything else, clean this up just a little bit. So I'm going to run these down, it looks like. So I think what I would have to do is remove all this trim. So I'll connect those later on. But today we're going to hook the stereo up and I'll leave these in the back because this is actually really easy to take apart. Looks like we have pretty good flexibility with the amount of space we have. I took all these USB cables back there. Keep the harness out. What we're going to do now is figure out how I'm going to do the GPS. So to run the GPS thing, you know, the wires don't show. I was actually able to, under the foot area here, slide, as you can see, this cable into the trim, and if you reach in here you can actually grab the cable that's coming in from there. You kind of have to stick your hand all the way down in there and see where it actually comes out. My GPS unit is running in there and the cable that connects to the back of the head unit is popped out through the back, so I'll be able to do a clean install. I'm also going to do the same thing with the rear camera wiring harness. I'm going to wire it the same exact way because it's going to run all along the footwell to the back of the car. So here is my wiring to the rear camera side that connects to the stereo. So I'm actually going to feed this through my handy dandy little thing that I found here. So I got that. And now we're going to plug all this in. This is the reverse camera, so we got to find the harness for the reverse camera, which I believe backup camera input. This is where the GPS goes. Okay, GPS is on. these are brake shift control. So I assume all these white pieces need to be connected to, yep, that goes right there. And this is for any audio inputs or external microphone. That's why I needed to get this installed. So this is the external microphone. I'm actually going to mount it right in front of my steering wheel, top of my steering wheel. So right here, it has external microphone on this harness. We're going to run this wire up here as well. Okay, so I finally got the cable fed through for the mic. So we're gonna go external microphone to external microphone. Okay, so on my harness, there's this green and then there's this white port right here, and that connects to that. There you go, and then you click that, and this goes into the antenna input of the stereo right there. Rear audio out. This is all for subs and things like that. I actually think we're good. So let's I think the camera is going to be a little bit tricky because I'm not good with grounds and all that, but I'll watch a YouTube video and figure that out. But let's get this harness connected to the main one. One way this is going to go in. Make sure it is down as far as you can go. Then you clip it on and that should be it. So let's get this sitting here, turn this on, and see how everything is working. I have a feeling the camera won't be working yet. Everything just fits really well. So let me grab the keys. We're going to start this car. Let's just hope everything starts up. Okay, that looks nice. It powers right up. So the backup camera says no signal. So this is, I guess, a Wi-Fi adapter as well as the backup camera input. So I'm going to connect the 12 volt for the backup from the camera to the cable coming from the camera. Okay, see if it's working now, because now I actually have the harness plugged in. Oh yeah, it's working. There it is. There's me. I pulled this trim out a little bit. I'm going to throw it back on, but we're gonna route my microphone. We're gonna route the GPS under here. I'm actually gonna clip it into the underside here so you'll never see it. And then here we will go into this trim. Oops. And it'll just run up here. So this is the GPS unit. So basically just run it. We'll put that right there. And the microphone, just go, I'm gonna tuck it here and tuck the wires and mount it right at the top of my steering wheel. And the rear camera will set up in a little bit. So I'm just lightly tucking it in. Okay, so it is all tucked in here, and now we're gonna go under here and mount it right where that other camera is. See what I mean by the fact that I have to do my headliner again? That sucks. But anyway, makes it easy to install these things. Here I have my 2 dash cams, so I am gonna get rid of this one eventually. But right now I wanna make sure everything works with this, and then we'll aim it. Oh yeah, look at that. All 4 of those screws are tight. Pop this back into place. Okay, so let's do a quick review of some of the things I like, some of the features, and some of the things I don't like. So I'm gonna turn it on. It's gonna connect to Android Auto. My phone disconnects every time it does, so I'll come right back. Android Auto actually starts really, really quickly. It's actually faster than a lot of the cars that have it native. So if you're worried about the speed of Android Auto or CarPlay connecting, don't worry about that because it is very, very quick. Otherwise, the screen is very responsive. It's definitely not as smooth as you would probably see like on an iPhone or a completely native system, but it gets the job done. There's a little bit of a delay. It's not terrible. For what you pay, it's actually really good, and it's very fast. So my number one dislike is the fact that this doesn't have actual buttons. There's really two things I don't like about not having physical buttons. Number one is volume. If you want to turn volume up, yeah, you can hold it. It's still slow. You can tap it right there if you want to do that, or you tap this, and it's just, while you're driving, it's not the best experience. I wish it had a knob or a physical button, which I am just a big fan of for media control and HVAC control. A lot of the Android Auto controls, at least, are at the bottom. So if I'm sometimes just trying to hit, skip the track, my finger will actually touch the volume button right there. And every time I skip the button, see, you can see the volume pops up. So pause that. But even there, it's just your finger kind of touches it. And yes, I know it sounds really stupid on video, but while you're driving, this happens all the time. So ultimately, that's the only thing I don't like about this, is the fact that it has these touch buttons at the bottom. And if you prefer some of the knob ones, then there's different designs. But it's a small negative, and it doesn't really make it a deal breaker, but it's just a personal preference. So as a quick walkthrough, obviously everybody knows what Android Auto and CarPlay looks like, so I'm not going to bother you with that. But to get to Android Auto or CarPlay, you hit the Z-Link 5 button. You can do maps. I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. If you do tether your phone to this, it actually does get all these updates. It's got all sorts of apps. So if you press this little button right here, it pops up all the apps. You can get any of the Android Auto apps. So you've got YouTube, Netflix, anything that you want to download. You've got a browser, you've got full internet, and you just log into the Play Store. So if you're an Android user, this is good because you can just log into your Play Store. If you're an Apple user, you can just sign up with your Gmail. It does come with Torque pre-installed. I actually haven't installed any of these apps. It comes with these pre-installed. They're pretty useful for the most part, but I don't tether. I just use Android Auto 90% of the time. And if you don't, then this might be very beneficial to you. You can change a lot of the different things. You can change the screensaver if you want. Under settings, you've got all the internet settings, device. You can change the sound of the beep, the display. Let's see what's under here. Drive video warning, suspension window. I don't really know what these mean. I haven't really messed with them, but you can change the startup animation. You can adjust the brightness, and otherwise you've got display, sound, navigation settings. You can go to personal, and that's where you just set, some of these things. System, updates and resets, and assembly. This is where you do a lot of the more sophisticated things, such as steering wheel programming if you need to, CAN bus settings, any camera settings if you have, which in this one you can connect a front camera and a rear camera. So very loaded. I'm not going to get into the details of every single thing, but I think it's just important to show you guys that a lot of this stuff is available right here. Usually there's a Google Maps and it shows you your location. You can customize the buttons down here. I just have it set to this, and I, like I said, always just go to Android Auto, hit the home button. The one thing that I did want to make sure that I talked about was the audio settings, because to me, one of the big benefits of this is to have a little bit more customization on the audio settings, such as the equalizers. So to get to that, you basically go into here, DSP. Now DSP is actually a really good piece of software. You can customize, you're talking all sorts of bands can be customized on this. And you can drag and drop what you want. So if you want heavy bass, you just kind of raise all that. I just messed up my settings. So it's actually a really good app. It doesn't sound very different, but there's a lot of options to move all your settings around. It's a nice graphical interface. So if you want completely center, you just do that. You can even choose the distance between the speakers if you want right there, which is kind of cool if you're, kind of an audio nerd. And then if you go into this is 3D surround, that's what I leave it at, and it just makes it sound more full. But you can, mess with the settings if you want. And then under the little button here, I don't know, I guess this is like a preamp, but I'm not positive. Somebody with audio experience can tell me what this is, or if you're looking for these kind of things, it does have it. And then this is even more customizing for the audio. So like I said, I'm not an audiophile. I just want things to sound good. This sounds okay, but I think that's more of the fact that the car has a pretty bad speaker system. It does have a lot of customization, which I think is the strong point of this. One of the questions I do get is, if you're not using Android Auto or CarPlay, what does this actually look like to make phone calls? So you've got your keypads Right here, you got your contacts list, your address book, whatever. This is, I guess my phone is connected, and these are the settings, so you can choose whatever you want for your Bluetooth connection. Otherwise, let's see what else. We've got the radio right here. This is what the interface for the radio looks like. It's actually pretty nice. It's easy to see, easy to press the buttons, and I think you might be able to change some of the settings on here. This is also where you can hit Google Maps. So if you're not using Android Auto or CarPlay, you can access, like I said, Google Maps. And if you're connected or tethering from your phone, it'll show you Google Maps right here. And let's see what else we got here. This is the media player, so you can actually connect items to this to be able to play videos and anything that you may have. This takes you to the settings. You can swipe down and you can actually, make it dim. You can turn the screensaver on. You can make it dark theme. You can make the hotspot, all sorts of different settings like you would get on a standard Android phone. And you can hit the little button, it'll go down. And then this is the multitasker. So if I click that, it'll let me switch between all the apps that I had open. But overall, if you're looking to upgrade your GTI's interior and you just are looking for a plug and play option, this does everything you need it to. Outside of the complaint I have about the buttons, this thing is damn near perfect. If you have any questions about any of this interface, please let me know. It's got all the basic stuff in it, but it is very, very customizable, and it also runs really well. So no issues so far.
And well, there you go. Step 1 of modernizing my new to me GTI. This head unit already makes my car feel so much more up to date. The pros of this unit include its price, it's plug and play, it's got a quick startup time into Android Auto or CarPlay, the backup camera is included, it has a quick OS, and it's an all-in-one solution. My only cons are that I wish it had a knob for the volume, the backup camera could be a little bit better, especially at nighttime, and the slight lag of the finger response if you drag on the screen. However, the pros significantly outweigh the cons. If you're looking for a headache-free install, this is it. And make sure you use the code AMAD10 for $10 off. Like and subscribe for more GTI content coming up. Thanks for watching.